just, you know, where
It's like when we took over the Portchester Court. It's like, okay, now you gotta do this.
you know, it's just, you know,
Right.
if they had made the announcement at the end of last season, if they had done it in October, November,
Everybody set?
you know, they could in
Are we
February.
ready to go?
Yes, we're all set.
Okay.
Did Emily, yes, Emily's there? Great.
Yeah, Emily's there.
All right.
I'll do
I'm
I'll do
going
town
to,
meeting.
Gary, how do you want this set up? Do you want to see the speaker or do you want to see everybody who's in attendance in a grid? Like Brady Bunch style?
I think we could put the speakers, the two speakers over there. You have Emily?
Yep.
And,
Yeah, we have Emily, Lindsay, Russ.
can you put Emily, Lindsay, and Russ up there? And then if you're gonna put something up here, so we can see it easily. I don't care what's on that side, there's nobody here, so whatever's on that other one, I don't care.
Ruby?
Were you on the municipal call?
Yes.
So you heard my question about the capital grants.
Mr. Mayor, how are you? Try to straighten your name out.
It may have to be on speaker mode. I don't understand why. You want it on the grid? You want the grid with everyone?
Yeah, so when they talk, we could interact.
Okay, when they talk, they'll pop up.
Okay. Are we all ready to go? No, we're not ready to go.
Jack? Jack, could we have a countdown, please?
Welcome, everybody, to the Rye-Town Park Commission meeting of March 18th, 2025. Please rise and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Debbie, please call the roll.
Commissioner Louis Marino. Commissioner Jason Klein.
Here.
Commissioner Josh Cohn.
Here.
Commissioner Lindsay Jackson.
Here.
Commissioner Emily Hurd. She's waving.
Here, muted. Sorry.
Okay. President Gary Zuckerman.
Here. Emily and Lindsay are appearing via Teams meeting, Zoom, whatever we want to call it. They have submitted their proper excuse for not being here in person. We do have a quorum in person and therefore can conduct this meeting. Adoption of minutes of February 24th, 2025. May I have a motion and a second?
Make a motion?
Second.
Unless there are any additions or changes? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
None opposed. Thank you. We're going to go right down to the resolutions first. Resolution to approve retaining PKF O'Connor Davis as our auditors for the 2025 through 2029 seasons. Debbie, would you just explain this briefly? The resolution is before us, as is their engagement letter.
Yes, PKF O'Connor Davies has been the auditor for the Rydtown Park Commission for many years, certainly for the last 10, and longer, I know. They do a very steady, dependable job. They're excellent to work with, and they give us an excellent rate. I recommend that we renew their agreement.
All right, the rates are for 2025 is $17,000, then 2026 is $17,700, 2027 is $18,400, then $19,100, and 2029, the last year is $19,900. I didn't figure out the percentage increase. Do you recall what the exact percentage?
It's roughly 5. I don't remember it
5%?
exactly.
Okay. Any questions, comments? If not, may I have a motion and a second?
Motion.
Debbie, call the roll, please.
Commissioner Marino,
Yes.
Commissioner Klein,
Yes.
Commissioner Cohn,
Yes.
Commissioner Jackson,
Yes.
Commissioner Hurd,
Yes.
President Zuckerman.
Yes, thank you. Resolution authorizing the commission to enter into a contract with Costas Construction for gutters and leaders on the restaurant concession building. We have before us the scope of work, which is included in the resolution. And Debbie, why are we doing this for the restaurant?
As the commissioners will recall, we had a very serious damage to the restaurant concession building due to water infiltration. We had a significant reconstruction and stabilizing of the restaurant deck this time last year. And it was determined that, in consultation with the architect, that our next step is to reduce the amount of water that's dumping onto the deck as a result of inadequate and compromised gutters and leaders. Once we have redirected all of that water off the deck, then we'll have a much clearer idea of what kinds of interventions we have to do with regard to water sealing the rest of the building. So this is a very moderate next step.
All right, and this is our obligation under the concession agreement?
Correct, it is. It was actually in the budget, the capital budget, for $30,000. This is actually an award of $20,000. So the bids came in advantageous to the Park Commission.
All right, and there's more than one bid?
There were 5.
Okay. And this is a low bid at $19,900?
Correct.
And the resolution says not to exceed 20, correct?
Yes, correct.
Okay. Any questions?
Question again, how many bids you received?
We received 5.
Good, that's it, thank you.
Motion and a second then, please.
So moved. Second.
Debbie, call the roll.
Commissioner Marino,
Yes.
Commissioner Klein,
Yes.
Commissioner Cohn,
Yes.
Commissioner Jackson,
Yes.
Commissioner Hurd,
Yes.
President Zuckerman.
Yes. Let's go back to the top of the agenda. Public comment on non-agenda items, or actually on any agenda items as far as I'm concerned. Members of the public present? I see no hands raised. Anybody on Facebook care to comment?
I don't see any comments right now.
Okay.
I said Emily Hurd.
Emily has her. I don't know when the appropriate time is to raise a sort of old business matter.
Well, you're not a member of the
No,
public,
yes.
Emily. You're a commissioner. You can raise it any time.
Okay, sorry to interrupt. Just quickly, I was thinking about the barley, conversation that we had at the last meeting with the schedule, and I'm very happy with how we ended up. And I think something that occurred to me was they said that they were going to be donating a portion of their proceeds at every event that they were, every special event, to a nonprofit. And it occurred to me that we might ask them to designate that nonprofit as the Friends of Rytown Park. I don't know if that's something that we could discuss or consider or sort of mull over, but I wanted to raise it.
I think that's a very good discussion to have.
It seems to me that, one of the concerns was that there's a lot of wear and tear on the, on the park at those events, and Friends certainly does an outstanding job of helping us to, supplement a lot of the landscaping. So just a thought.
If I might add, I'm sure they would be very amenable to that suggestion. They've brought it up on their own in the past. So if you'll allow me, I will bring this to Chris Sarace's attention, and I'm sure he will agree to make the Friends of Rytown Park one of the recipients.
Awesome.
As far as donations are concerned.
Russ, I appreciate that you said one. I was thinking that they might also want to go beyond the park just because in the nature of community outreach. And Soul Riders, of course, has a presence in the park. That is, they have contributed to their own area, I forget if it's called a labyrinth.
Yeah.
Labyrinth.
And so that might be a good combination, and would extend the reach of their charitable giving beyond the park walls.
Josh, I was thinking the same thing. Soul Riders is an excellent charity too, and they're very local, obviously.
Yeah.
So I think both of those are excellent. So we can have that conversation. Moving on, if there's nothing else, scheduling the annual community conversation. I have a question. First question is this beneficial? Should we have it, or should we not have it? We get very few people, and staff put some time into setting it up. So the first question is, should we continue this tradition? That's up to the commission to decide. The second thing that I want to raise is I can no longer do Sunday, May 18th. So that's off the table unless you want to have it without me. So.
I think, I'm just thinking back to last year, and we had a good number of people, which was surprising because in prior years we really haven't. So just based on number of people, I suggest if there's that interest, we should try to respond to it. Of course, people are always welcome to come to these meetings. And maybe if we don't have the meeting in the once a year in the park, maybe we'll get better turnout at these meetings. So there's that as a counterbalancing idea. But I'd opt to try it again this year.
I'm just raising the question. Because not all the commissioners go to that meeting, and sometimes we just have 2 or sometimes 3. So I'm quite willing to have the meeting. I just wanted to raise the issue.
What if I wonder if some of those people attend because it happens to be in the park? Could we consider hosting a meeting? That we would label the community conversation at like, one time we did it at Barley, which was nice. We need to make sure the weather's nice. Remember how cold it was last year?
Was it last year that was, I remember one year it was freezing out.
I think last year was cold.
Yeah. Anyway, I don't know if it, if we can combine, a meeting with the community conversation and have it sort of be over at the park in a way to, maybe get people there, but also not make it a separate staff event, although I guess doing something at Barley would be a big lift for staff. Anyway, just a thought.
Gary, I do have a couple of comments on Facebook. Megan Corbett first said, yes, we should have the community conversation. And then she said, we have often had 60 to 70 people. Do we have any numbers on the last few years? And then she comments, it's hard to guarantee the weather. Thank you, Megan.
Yes, thank you, Megan. And yes, it's hard to guarantee the weather. We never know what it's going to be. It could be raining and pouring and et cetera. So I have another comment. I assume everybody's right now is in favor of doing it, so we will go forward. May 31st is, don't we have the
In fact, we do.
The
It's-
LGBTQ
We do.
on that day?
We do. However, that event doesn't start till 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
All right, so we can have all day at the park.
Mm-hmm.
What weekend is Memorial Day weekend?
It's the
week
weekend
before.
It is the
before.
week before.
Yeah.
All right. So Saturday, May 31st? Is that what we're,
Saturday, May 31st.
At what time? 10?
10?
It's uncontested.
Uncontested.
And the weather is likely to be warmer.
Yeah,
A
May,
couple weeks
likely.
before that.
likely. Okay. Moving on. Any other questions? I just want to bring an update regarding capital projects. We have two projects that we are completing. One is the two pavilion roofs, and I just got an email from Gary because I wanted to confirm, Gary Gianfrancesco, our architect. The remaining work for the pavilion roofs mostly consists of painting the underside, and they will need to set up a scaffold for ceiling access. Should take 2 to 3 weeks to do, including cleanup. There is a missing ridge and hip pieces, but that comes from the manufacturer, and they're scheduled to be on the site by the end of April. The reason that they were missing is because, if you will recall, the pavilions were approved at 2 different times. The first one is totally complete. We're only missing the ridge and hip pieces on the second one. And this should all be done certainly by May 31st. The beach access restrooms are basically complete. There's a small punch list. The biggest issue preventing the certificate of occupancy is the ADA signage, which has to be specific and is required and must be in place before we get the certificate of occupancy, and that signage has been ordered and is expected in approximately 3 weeks. So that will complete both of those projects. 2 other projects. Number 1, the bathhouse interior, which we've all been waiting for 8 years or so. Number 1, the state grant, we are waiting for the final contract. Parks Department tells us that it's in Albany. We don't know where in Albany. It's floating around the State House somewhere, probably with some attorney or some buried in the Parks Department. I have requested Assemblyman Otis to check on it, and he has spoken with the commissioner, and they're trying to find out where that contract is. That's all we need, is the paperwork to be finished. The other 50% is coming from the county. That has been approved by the Board of Legislators. It's gone through all the administrative processes, and we just received an email today. I had requested Ruby to follow up, and the last email basically said everything is done. They're just going through the execution process. So with any luck, we should be able to go out to bid, hopefully in a matter of weeks, and then get that work done.
And weren't we gonna try to see if we can find ways to diminish the price?
Well, we will. We have to go out to bid first to see if what gets bid, how much it's bid, and if there's any way of, doing, subparts of it that if we eliminate something or do a different surface. So let's see where they come out.
Yeah.
We may be pleasantly surprised, and then again, we may not be. The parking lot. I had great hopes for our parking lot. It was submitted through both Senator Schumer and Senator Gillibrand as a congressional spending item at their discretion. It made both their lists. It then went through the Senate Appropriations Committee and was approved by the Senate Appropriations Committee. And all it needed was to have the federal budget approved. And as you all know at this time, the federal budget has not been approved. It's under a continuing resolution. And the importance to us is that the continuing resolution eliminated all congressional spending requests. So unless it's restored in the final version of the budget, we cannot count on that money. That's approximately $4 million for the parking lot, which is a considerable sum. And we're hoping that we will be able to, that it will be restored. And if not, we are reapplying for the 2026 congressional spending grants, and that will be again through both senators as well as Congressman Latimer. Our parking lot did not make Congressman Bowman's list. We're hoping that will make Congressman Latimer's list. In addition, we will reapply to the state through the Green Infrastructure Grant Program once again, and hope that we can get funding through them if possible. We obviously, those of you in the public who have viewed these meetings as well as the commissioners know that we're trying every source possible that will give grants to the things that we require. We also have the stormwater management grant outstanding. That is also a $4 million project that was submitted to FEMA as a result of the FEMA grant that we got, that the study performed by AI/Dolph Rotfeld Engineers. And the grant was, I think, about $75,000. The report was submitted and the resulting project developed and submitted to FEMA for funding. The FEMA funding will be 75%. We have also applied to the County of Westchester through the Stormwater Management Program. That is solely funded by the County of Westchester. And we're expecting to go shortly before the Stormwater Advisory Board. I spoke to the people in planning. They are reluctant to submit just one project. Jason, you may know about this. I don't know if this is in your bailiwick as a parks guy, but the stormwater management program funds up to 50% of the cost of the project. It goes first to the Stormwater Advisory Board, then it goes to the Planning Board, then it goes to the Board of Legislators. And I spoke to people in planning, since it's an election year and Board of Legislator items don't move very fast in the fall, we're hoping to get this done before the fall. They said it was possible. We shall see. But those are the major projects and the costs that we are working with right now.
Where are we on the retaining wall?
The retaining wall. We have $250,000 from State Senator Shelley Mayer. I spoke to Steve Otis, and he is going to put in for another $250,000 from his appropriations. The last one that he gave us was for the pavilion roofs, and I asked him just last week if he would consider putting that in, and he said yes, he would. Now, it depends on how much money he's allotted. We're going to request the $250,000. So that should cover basically all of the costs between the two grants. Both of those are ultimately administered by the State Dormitory Authority. So that's where that money would come from. We also have applied for the retaining wall to the through the CDBG program, Community Development Block Grant. That is federal money administered by the county, and once again, county funds are up in the air. We don't know if the federal government will be funding this program going into the future. So that is the reason that I asked Assemblyman Otis if we could apply through his office for state funds. On the municipal call Monday afternoon, I raised the question about federal funding with both CDBG and the congressional spending in mind, and was given the answer by both County Executive Ken Jenkins and Congressman Latimer, who was also on the call. Just keep going forward. We have not yet received a no. So that's basically where we are. Questions?
Thank you.
So, all right. We have the management report from Russ. That's part of our agenda. Russ, do you have anything you want to add to it? I point out that the season permit portal is now open for business. And I'm just reading from the...
I don't have anything to add. I just, I'm hoping that we can get that list of small operations projects. I'm hoping that they get going, sooner as opposed to later. And on that note, I have good news: is that the gates and fences that are in desperate need of repair, that work started today. That's great. I'm looking for the windows and doors to be replaced as soon as possible. And that's it. We're just gonna kind of keep chipping away. So, but with Vic's assistance and support, we're starting to make progress.
I just want to add to what Russ had to say. The windows are the two windows on the tower building that are currently covered in plywood, and the loading dock doors, which have completely failed. They were both items in the capital budget that was passed.
Yeah, and I noticed in your report, the repairs to the roof drainage system at the restaurant building are on that. The repairs to the paved parking lot is on your report. That's where we fix the asphalt.
Right, the annual Band-Aid, and we don't have Vic, you might be able to help here, but I don't think we have a start date on that. I think we're still getting the estimates, right?
Yeah, we still are. We're waiting on
Okay.
James. That's what we're waiting on.
And the pond path remediation, that's been completed, and it looks like they did a really, really good job. And that was money that was appropriated or allocated from some sort of, I guess that was a FEMA
They
thing,
were-
Debbie, I don't know.
they were
I can't remember.
funds,
That's-
yes, they were.
That's been complete, and that's great. So again, we're just, like to get as many of these things done before the season starts, because then the season is rapidly approaching, but we're making progress.
And regrading the beach, we issued the contract last month.
That's right.
Yeah, so that,
Yeah.
do you have a start date on that, Russ? I assume sometime in April.
I don't, and April is fine, right? Kind of, I would like to do it, as late as possible, because you never know what kind of late season winter storm is gonna come up and wreak havoc on the beach. So, yeah, sometime mid to late April, I think it'll be fine.
All right, good. And one other item that came up when we were at the Association of Towns meeting last month, we found a firm that repairs concrete in an innovative way. Debbie, do you want to go over that? Because you had a meeting with them.
Yeah, this is, the name of the company escapes me at the moment. They have a singular technology that enables them to grind a sidewalk, actually saw a sidewalk horizontally and smooth out the tripping hazards far faster than any other method that is currently being used, and much less expensively as a result of that. And we checked out the several of their references, local Westchester communities that rave about them. So we are reaching out for a proposal and are looking forward to spending the $10,000 we have in the budget to go as far as we can with our sidewalk repairs.
Yeah, and
I'm not sure if it's the same company, but if you say if it's a singular technology, this solution was effectively implemented around Rye High School on Milton Road, where one section of sidewalk was raised above the adjacent section, and therefore they kind of grind it down so that it makes it an ADA compliant grade. So if you want to see what the technology is, just walk in front of the new science wing, from the science wing to Parsons, and you'll see a number of examples of where that technology was used.
I'm not sure that that's the same thing. I'm looking to see, because I know, looking for a calendar entry. But
I would say thank you, Russ, and I'll reach out to Greg Usry and Ryan Coyne to confirm who their contractor was, and we'll go forward. If there's two of them, more better.
But it was, he said, the school district,
Right.
not.
Well, I'll find out who.
Well, I
they
think
used it.
when we do it, I think we should share that information with Mayor Cohn, Mayor Marino, and Mayor Klein, because they all have sidewalks to do.
I was
Yeah.
going to ask you just for that.
No.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I promised the Tarrytown village administrator not to tell anybody because he's afraid of losing them.
So I do have one question, if you don't mind. So this sidewalk's been lifted by the roots of the tree, or what's, I mean, I'm sorry, I missed a few meetings. If they lift, if you're gonna grind it down, he's gonna lift it again, if he's been damaged by the tree.
This is a technology that doesn't lift a sidewalk slab, it just cuts the sidewalk slab. And they'll give you an analysis of your sidewalk, and they'll identify the areas where their technology will be effective and the areas where you really have to replace the slab. Like if the heave coming from the tree is big enough, it may not be a repairable candidate for that technology.
Got it.
But there certainly are, many squares that are just off center and just a tripping hazard and can be
Yeah, I
dealt
think
with that way.
Tarrytown uses it, and
Yes.
Larchmont,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Larchmont uses it.
Those are the two recommendations we got instantly.
They rave about it. So
Yeah.
if they could do the work and save us all money, that's a good thing. Because that concrete work is very expensive. So, all right. I can't believe neither of us remembers the name of it. And I know you had a meeting with them.
Yeah.
Do you remember what day the meeting was?
All right, this is making you crazy. We have to find the.
We're gonna have to find this out.
Wait a minute, Ruby's got it.
Oh,
Precision sidewalks. Thank you, Ruby.
precision sidewalks. I had a meeting with we have a supervisors group that would meet once a month, all the town supervisors, for lunch, luckily. And I mentioned it, and the supervisors were also interested in getting that technology. So, something that hopefully will work, and we'll try it out.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay. Do we have anything else? I don't see anything else on. Usually I skip over something on the agenda that I forget, but I think I got it all.
Can I offer the motion to adjourn?
You may indeed.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, everybody.